Hi everybody, welcome back. Today I wanted to share with you my TBR for DiverseAthon, which is coming up next week. For those of you who don't know, DiverseAthon is a 7-day readathon created to celebrate diverse voices and stories. This DiverseAthon is happening next week, January 22nd through the 29th of 2017. My understanding is that this is the second such DiverseAthon to happen. The first one happened last fall of 2016. Over the course of this week, readers are asked to engage with books that feature characters or were written by authors who come from underrepresented minority groups. In addition, they're encouraged to engage in discussion about diversity in books through all of their social media. In particular, the hosts of DiverseAthon are going to be running daily conversations via Twitter. I was clued into the existence of DiverseAthon after seeing a video from Simon over on Savage Reads, who is one of the hosts of this upcoming DiverseAthon. I'll leave a link to that particular video and his channel, as well as the channels of the other hosts of DiverseAthon, in the description box below. If you want more information about DiverseAthon, I would encourage you to check out that video, as well as the videos made by the other hosts of this readathon, because they do a much better job explaining it than I do. Without further ado, let's jump into my TBR for the upcoming DiverseAthon. First up on my list is We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson. We Are the Ants tells the story of a teenage boy named Henry, whose boyfriend has committed suicide over the previous year, and whose family and friend group seems to kind of be falling apart around him. And amidst all of this, he is abducted by a group of aliens that is looking to destroy humanity. But for some reason that he can't explain, they kind of leave the decision up to him. And it's about his struggle with whether or not he thinks humanity is worth saving. We Are the Ants seems like it will be a strange and wonderful tale, and it's been on my TBR list for a really long time, so I'm very glad to take this opportunity to read this book. Next up on my list is Akata Witch by Nnedi Okorafor. From my understanding, Akata Witch tells the story of Sunny, an albino African-American girl who is living in Nigeria, and Sunny ultimately learns that she and several of her classmates have magical abilities, and they go on a quest to stop a bad guy that is abducting children or maiming children, something like that. I'm not particularly sure, but I'm really looking forward to reading this book. Next up, we have a graphic novel. The book is Monstrous, Volume 1, Awakening. The author is Marjorie Liu, and the illustrator is Sana Takeda. I purposefully don't know too much about the storyline of Monstrous, but I do know that it is set in an alternate steampunk version of 1900s Asia, where a matriarchal society reigns supreme and there are bits of magical realism. The story itself, as far as I know, follows a female protagonist who is trying to deal with the traumas of the war that's going on around her. And the final book on my list for this upcoming DiverseAthon is The Midnight Gardener by R.G. Thomas. The Midnight Gardener is a young adult romance novel, and it's the first book in a series called The Town of Superstition. This book tells the story of a 15-year-old boy named Thaddeus, whose family has moved around a lot and is most recently settling into a town called Superstition. Because of all the moving around that his family has done, Thaddeus doesn't really have any friends and has not really had any long-term relationships in his life other than, I assume, with his family. Upon moving to Superstition, he starts falling for a boy that shows up to tend to the yard in the dead of night, who turns out to be a gnome. So it sounds really interesting, and I'm really looking forward to reading this book as well. Alright, so that's the end of my TBR for this DiverseAthon. Again, the dates of the DiverseAthon are January 22nd to the 29th, 2017. I'm going to put up a post about DiverseAthon and my TBR over on my blog, Chad Reads. I'll leave a link to that post and to the blog in general in the description box. I'm hoping to make at least one follow-up video after DiverseAthon is over, talking about my experience reading these 4 books. Hopefully I will be able to finish all of them over this 1-week period. I'd be really interested to know if you too are going to be participating in DiverseAthon. If you are, I'd really like to know what books you plan on reading. So leave your TBR in the comment box below, or link me to your blog post or your video that contains the TBR. I would really like to be able to find out what everyone else is reading. As always, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment box below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. Over the course of this week, readers are asked to have their battery die on.